Ho! If you haven't been living under a rock, you probably know about the new Drake project. And since you just dropped a project, I thought it would be a good idea to go back in his discography and rank all of his projects. And in this video, I have a lot of knowledge on this guy. I've been listening to Drake's music for a very long time. It's going to be mixtapes and albums, just any LP. And you'll see the criteria when I go through this list, but we're going to rank his projects worst to best. This is just my opinion. If you have an opinion, and I'm sure you do, please, I would love to hear it in the comment section below. Let me know what you think about Drake's projects. How would you rank from worst to best? I've spent pretty much the last 24 hours just binging on Drake music so that I could effectively make this video up to date with my preference as of now. And I have my list 1 through 13 of Drake projects, and I'm going to let you know my ranking right now. I hate to start off on a low note, but we're going to start with the worst. His 2016 album, Views, aka at the time it was supposed to be Views from the Six. I can remember this time very vividly because I was expecting a classic. I got a little bit ahead of myself just due to his recent output at that point. I was a huge Drake fan at that point, and I can't really say that I'm as huge of a fan of his music anymore. I really do love so many of his songs throughout his catalog. He's got so many and a lot of great tracks to his name, but I do think there are a lot of artists that fare better in terms of crafting full projects. I don't even think this project's whack. I don't think Drake has a whack project because every time he drops something, he's always able to give us a handful of great tracks. Even on this album, there are a lot of tracks, or at least, 4 or 5 that I really love off of this. Keep the Family Close, Hype, Weston Road Flow is probably the best song. For this project, it was just too long, slow, boring. So much of this, as you just kept listening to this, it just kind of just got worse and worse. So Dark Lane Demo Tapes comes in at number 12. I just reviewed this, so check out my review. And it's not a completely negative review, okay? This project isn't bad. It's just average. These projects at the beginning of this list, they're just average, and we're just going from average to great. It's just a lot of demos on this. It's a lot of unfinished work. Drake has said itself, it's not really his best work. It's like Lucy leftover tracks. So, it's Drake, Lucy leftover tracks. Some of them are good. A lot of them aren't that good. And it's not really just a memorable project at all. So I can't really see it moving up this list, honestly. At number 11, we have Drake's most recent studio album, Scorpion, 2018. This is the longest project Drake has ever dropped. I believe it's 25 tracks long. And side B of this project is what puts it so low on this list because, to be honest, we split this and side A and side B were individual projects on this list. Side B would be the absolute last project. And yes, I have heard good R&B music in my life, and I swear to God, this is not it. Incredibly boring. I just couldn't, it's so hard to get through. It's so goddamn slow and boring, and these songs just have nothing to them at this point. But side A, I want to talk about what's good on this project because side A has some gems. And, side A as an individual project would be pretty solid to me. You got some great tracks on here like Mob Ties, Is There More, 8 out of 10, Talk Up, and more. At number 10, we have Drake's debut album, Thank Me Later. This album does have one of my very, very, very favorite Drake songs of all time, Over, which is just kind of like a signature track that even 10 years later, I might call it one of my favorite tracks overall of the last decade. I do think that a lot of this album is just mediocre. Some songs with lyrics that are just kind of cringy, some love songs that are just kind of cheap. It doesn't really sound like timeless music, a lot of this project, but it does have some great tracks. I also like the track Unforgettable a lot. It lives up to its name for sure. Thank Me Now, another great track. At number 9, we have the More Life playlist from 2017. This is another really long project from Drake, like an hour, 20 minutes. Also technically titled a playlist. Another project like the most recent one where you do have some demo quality tracks and it's just a lot of, probably just Lucy's that he threw on this, even though some of these tracks I thought were really good. I do think the listen is actually more enjoyable than a lot of people give it credit for. However, it is very non-cohesive, even though I guess that's the point. If it's a playlist, none of these songs really have much to do with each other. And yeah, there are some bad songs on this, but the tracks like Lose You, Free Smoke, Do Not Disturb, Since Way Back, great tracks. At number 8, we have Take Care. Ooh, I know I'm going to get a lot of shit for this. I know people love this project. This is many Drake fans' favorite album of his. But for me, I think it's a pretty good project. But I still do think that some of his lyrics and, when he's just shit-talking his haters and being insecure with women, which he does a lot, especially on this project, it's just kind of obnoxious sometimes, and it's a long project. I do think that the flow of this album is really good, and the overall sound palette of this project is dope for sure. It does have Headlines on it, and Headlines is amazing. Crew Love is another amazing song with the help of The Weeknd. But there are a bunch of skips on this. I think this is definitely an overrated project. It's not bad at all. It's pretty good, but people worship this like there aren't skips, like there are tracks that everything is seamless, and I just don't think that that's the case. At number 7, we have the What a Time to Be Alive collab mixtape with Future. Just super flashy. Metro Boomin might have produced every song on this, and I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me, but it wasn't incredible as a full thing, but definitely had gems that I just can't continue to run back, like Diamonds Dancing, phenomenal song, Live from the Gutter, Scholarships, and then the Future solo track Jersey was another one of my favorites. At number 6, we have the So Far Gone mixtape in 2009. This was the project that put Drake on the map. This is his first time he was ever singing. I think this mixtape is solid. He's got the Lil Wayne features on here, definitely big names, and this thing definitely blew him up to a size disproportionate to what he'd been before. And you do have some signature tracks like Best I Ever Had and Successful, but for me personally, I don't think this project has the standouts that some of his other projects do, and that's why I hold it back a little bit. I think there are some skips too. It's good, but not great personally. It lands on my 6th spot for this. And number 5, we have Comeback Season from 2007. Hear me out. I'm going to be talking about some of his early mixtapes right now. And for people that are sleeping on these projects, haven't heard them because they're not on streaming services, if you are a fan of Drake, I really do recommend that you go check these out. Drake was really in his bag when he was on his mixtape game. And when he was functioning pretty much as an underground rapper, he was really dope as a rapper. He didn't sing. He had Trey Songz features on this. Little Brother, who he got some inspiration from, I feel like at this point, was the first time Lil Wayne was featured on the track with him. So that was pretty dope. Man of the Year, great track. Since he wasn't singing at all, his rapping was really on display the whole time, and he could carry a mixtape with his rapping, no problem, back in 2006 and 7. And that's pretty dope. Speaking of which, at number 4, we have his first mixtape, Room for Improvement, in 2006. People are probably freaking out right now watching this because you guys haven't heard these projects, I'll bet, because these are, no one ever talks about these. We just write him off like, oh, whatever, Drake, he made music before he got big and it was whatever, but it was good, okay? This project has like a really chill, classic feel, just smooth as hell. Nicholas F. of Richmond was on a bunch of these tracks back in the days when he was going, ho! He had the ho ad-lib. There are a lot of great tracks on here. Bad Meeting Good, Special, AM to PM. I mean, it's his first project ever, and it's dope. I've never really heard people talk about it, so I just wanted to bring some attention to that. At number 3, we have the Care Package. Drake dropped this collection of tracks. I know maybe it doesn't qualify as a Drake project because these are just loosey, random tracks, but I'm going to throw it in here because I believe that the quality of the tracks on this project are greater than the sum of what I have talked about on this list so far, because some of his offline, these unreleased tracks that finally got finalized for the streaming version of Care Package are amazing. 5 a.m. in Toronto, 4 p.m. in Calabasas, 2 of his best freestyle tracks of all time. Especially 5 a.m. in Toronto might be maybe his best song, but I mean, there's a bunch of songs in contention for that title, but still, it is up there. And I mean, it just goes on. I mean, the motion, How About Now, Jodeci Freestyle with J. Cole, Draft Day, and more. Care Package has a lot of the great Drake gems that you would be listening to on SoundCloud or YouTube before last year. And for me, a lot of nostalgia there. Personally, I love a lot of these tracks, and that's why I have this so high on my list. At number 2, we have the Head in the Clouds album. Nothing Was the Same. This is his best studio album. It's really hard for me to think of an album literally ever in history with a better combination of intro and outro tracks than this project, with Tuscan Leather to kick it off and Pound Cake Paris Morton Music 2 to finish it. These are 2 of my favorite songs from Drake ever, and these are easily the 2 best songs on the album for me. And there are other memorable tracks on this project like Furthest Thing and Worst Behavior. Some skips. Most of this album is very solid. It's a great album as a cohesive effort. This flows from front to back, probably better than any Drake project, period. I would say it is great, but it is not the best because if you're reading this, it's too late. Mixtape in 2015. The ghostwriting allegations came into effect at this point, and I know some people want to use that to kind of write him off and write this project off, but I still feel like the quality of the music on this project cannot be ignored, and it is easily the greatest output of Drake's career, personally. But in terms of the combination of tracks, the amount of amazing songs on this project, just front to back, I mean, this thing is special. The outro to this album might be my favorite Drake song ever. I know I've said that about some songs in this video, but when he gets in his bag, he does these these time and location freestyles, 6 p.m. New York, 5 a.m. Toronto, 4 p.m. in Calabasas. Obviously, these are like some of his best tracks. This project was mostly Drake rapping. There was some singing on here, but I thought it went really well. It complemented the album very well, like on a track like Jungle or Company, but Six God, You and the Six, and No Tellin', Used To, Energy, list goes on, 10 bands, whatever. This whole thing is dope as hell. I think pretty much everybody knows that at this point. That's gonna finish off my list. Let me know what you guys think about this. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Drop your list in the comment box below, and that's gonna do it.